Hello, welcome to Chung's Martial Arts Academy Weekly Technique video series. Last week we went over how to do a formal roundhouse kick. This week I'll show you how to do a competition style roundhouse kick from different positions and with different motions. We'll start out with a quick recap of what the formal roundhouse kick looks like. Keep in mind this kick comes up and forms a parallel line with the floor and then kicks out. The reason for this is it generates more of a hip motion, generates more power, and it causes less injury to your instep. That being said, in competition, it's a slower kick. So most competitors, especially in Olympic Taekwondo sparring, prefer to chamber their knee at a 45-degree angle and hit at a diagonal. This is much faster, although it lacks some of the power and the impact surface isn't as good as the formal roundhouse kick. So for this kick, we're going to start it just like the other one and bring the knee up, but we're going to bring it right up to the angled position. The faster you can raise your knee, the faster this kick will be. We'll pick up and then kick at the angle. All together, here, out. From this angle, up, angle, down. When both competitors are in what's called an open stance, your back leg can score on their chest or stomach area. So this is one of the primary uses for a competition roundhouse. Both competitors are moving, and then they throw a single shot to get in with that quick motion, moving forward, getting close so that they're not counter-kicked. Another way you can move in quickly is to use the front foot rather than the rear foot, and this will work better in what's called a closed stance, in which case if you hit with your back leg, you run into the person's elbow. So we're going to use our front foot and again hit in the stomach or chest area. We're going to slide in and pick up at that angle and kick fast here, down next to the target again. That's one of the methods. Another method you can do is the double roundhouse kick. And with double roundhouse kick, it's very important that you keep your knees tight together. If you try and use the formal roundhouse kick for a double roundhouse kick, it won't work very well. Double roundhouse kick from here, we come up, 1, 2. If we try and go too wide with the classical or the formal roundhouse kick, it'll be a little bit sloppy. We're trying to come out from too much an angle. So we have to cheat and come in really tight here. 1, 2. For a lot of people, the competition roundhouse kick will actually be easier than the formal roundhouse kick. The formal roundhouse kick requires more flexibility and hip strength, whereas the competition style is a lot easier, less flexibility, and you can come up at that angle. So it's going to be easier for most people. One more thing to keep in mind is that you still need to turn the foot, not necessarily as much, but it's very important anytime you throw a roundhouse kick that you turn your base leg. If you don't do that, you're putting a lot of stress that's not necessary onto your knee joint, and that's not a good move. So from here, even if we're doing a quick roundhouse kick, we're going to pivot slightly around. Probably the biggest problem people run into with the competition style roundhouse kick is when they're doing the double roundhouse kick. And again, that's because they're thinking of coming really wide, like I demonstrated on the bag earlier. And I'm just going to reiterate that one more time because it's probably the most common mistake I see. If you try and do a regular roundhouse kick with a double, no matter how good you are, it's going to be pretty awkward. So I'm going to, again, cheat and keep my knees as tight as I can and come up to do the double roundhouse kick. When you're doing this, it's not actually much of a roundhouse kick because your foot's coming in at such a small angle. My recommendation would be that when you're doing forms or line marching drills, things of that nature, that you practice the formal roundhouse kick because it's more difficult, and I think if you can do that one well, that it'll be a lot easier to do the competition style roundhouse kick. To practice the competition kick, the targets are a good idea to use and see how fast you can kick as your partner holds them out. Another good exercise for developing a fast competition kick is raising your knee, and this can be done either stationary, raising your knee, or running up steps, things of that nature. But anything you're doing where you're getting your knee raised quickly is going to help your speed for the competition style roundhouse kick. So you can see there's advantages to knowing both. Both have their place. My suggestion is that you practice both because you'll find use for each of them. And though the formal kick is better as a traditional power kick, the competition kick is much faster and it has more use in sparring matches. So go ahead and go out there, experiment with them. Remember that you can do it off the front leg, the back leg. You can change your footwork around, throw the kick, and you want to orient yourself in a way that you're prepped to kick quickly for a competition style kick. Stance is important. If you stand more of back stance position, then you're going to be forced to come around with more of what's a formal roundhouse kick. So you want to almost have your rear leg pointed forward so that it can move quickly. That's what you want to keep in mind for competition. Competition kicking, it's all about throwing fast kicks and fast combinations, not so much about powering through your opponent. Thank you.